My name is Nora. I worked in a small antique shop on an old street where people came to buy clocks, mirrors, books, and strange little things they did not need. The shop was quiet most days. I liked that. Quiet places made it easy to think. But one evening, something happened that changed everything. It was raining hard outside. I was closing the shop alone. My boss had left early, so I turned the sign on the door from open to closed and started covering the tables. Then I saw a coat. It was hanging near the back door, dark gray, long, wet from the rain. I was sure it was not mine. I walked to it slowly. At first, I only wanted to move it. But when I touched it, I felt something heavy in the pocket. I looked around the empty shop and put my hand inside. There was a key. It was old, gold-colored, and cold in my hand. A small number was tied to it with black thread. 214. My heart started beating faster. I searched the other pocket. There was a note. Only one sentence was written on it. If you found this, do not trust the man in black gloves. I stared at the words. Then someone knocked on the front door. I jumped. A man stood outside in the rain. He wore black gloves. For 1 second, I could not move. He knocked again. I quickly closed my hand around the key and pushed the coat behind a wooden screen near the wall. Then I walked to the door, but I did not unlock it. The man looked at me through the glass. "Excuse me," he said. "I think I left my coat inside." His voice was calm. Too calm. I looked at his face. Pale, serious, maybe 40. His eyes did not look kind. "What coat?" I asked. "The gray one," he said. "I was here earlier." That was a lie. I would have remembered him. "I'm sorry," I said. "There is no coat here." For a moment, his face changed. Only a little, but enough. Then he smiled, and that smile felt wrong. "If you find it," he said, "keep it safe." He turned and walked away into the rain. I locked the door twice after he left. That night, I took the key and note home with me. I lived alone in a small apartment above a bakery. Usually I liked being alone. That night, I did not. I put the key on the table and stared at it while rain hit the window. Who was the man in black gloves? Why did someone leave that note? And what did 214 mean? A room? A box? A locker? I hardly slept. The next morning, I almost decided to throw the key away and forget everything. But I could not. Something inside me would not let it go. During lunch, I walked through the streets and looked at signs and numbers. Nothing felt right. Then I passed the old station hotel, and I stopped, because on the wall near the front desk hung brass room keys. One hook was empty. Number 214. My whole body went cold. I did not go inside at once. I stood outside and watched the windows. Finally, I crossed the street and entered. The woman at the front desk looked bored. "Hello," I said. "I think my uncle lost his room key." "Room 214. Name?" she asked. I froze. Then I said the first thing that came into my head. "Mr. Vale." She checked the book. "No Mr. Vale here," she said. I forced a small smile and turned away. But before I reached the door, a young cleaner on the stairs looked at me and said quietly, "Room 214 is empty now." I turned fast. She glanced at the desk woman, then whispered, "Come back in 10 minutes." I waited outside in the cold. When I returned, the cleaner was near the back hallway. "Follow me," she said. She took me to a narrow corridor and stopped near room 214. "It was locked this morning," she whispered. "But the guest never came back last night." I looked at the key in my hand. She stepped back. "Hurry." My fingers shook as I put it in the lock. It turned. The room was dark and cold. The bed was untouched. A suitcase stood near the wall. A lamp was broken on the floor, and on the small table by the window was a black notebook. I walked in slowly. The cleaner stayed at the door. I opened the notebook. The first page had only 3 words. For Nora Blake, my name. I felt dizzy. I turned the page. If you are reading this, I did not have time. Do not give the key to anyone. Inside the suitcase is proof. Take it to the police only if I do not return by tonight. Do not trust Daniel Cross. He wears black gloves. I looked at the cleaner. She looked frightened. I opened the suitcase. Inside were papers, photos, a small recorder, and one newspaper clipping about a fire from years ago. A name in that article made my hands go numb. Elias Blake, my father. He died in that fire. At least that was what I had believed all my life. I sat down hard on the bed. The cleaner whispered, "Do you know that name?" "It's my father," I said. The room suddenly felt too small. I looked again at the papers. More names, dates, payments, photos of men near a warehouse, and in one photo, beside my father, stood the same man who came to my shop, the man in black gloves, Daniel Cross. I understood only one thing. The fire that killed my father was not an accident. Someone had hidden the truth for years. That evening, I went to the police, not because I was brave, because I was already too deep inside it. At first, they listened with cold faces. Then they saw the recorder. On it was a weak man's voice. He said names, dates, and one final sentence. "If anything happens to me, Daniel Cross knows the truth about the fire." 3 days later, the police arrested Daniel Cross. They also found another man connected to the case. Then another. The story became bigger than I understood. My father had worked with them once. Later he tried to leave. Later there was a fire. Later there were lies. The man who left the coat. I never learned much about him. The police said he may have watched the others for a long time. Some said he was a witness. Some said he was guilty too. He disappeared before anyone found him. I only know this. He left the key in my shop, and because of that, the truth finally opened. Now the antique shop still stands on the same old street. I still work there. I still lock the door every evening, but I never look at forgotten coats the same way again. And sometimes, when rain hits the windows and the shop grows dark, I remember that cold gold key in my hand. One small thing, one hidden room, one sentence on a note. That was all it took to change my life.